Well, hi there and welcome on a new episode on TypeScript design patterns. And in this episode, we will be discussing the template method pattern. So when we look at the definition, it states that it defines the skeleton of an algorithm in an operation, but it differs some of the steps in this algorithm to its subclasses. So the template method lets subclasses redefine certain steps of an algorithm without changing the algorithm's structure. So when we look at the UML class diagram, we will notice that we have an abstract class which has a template method. And within that template method, the algorithm in that method decides whether or not to call primitive operation 1, primitive operation 2, maybe call both of them or in a different order. So the template method contains the algorithm to execute, but then subclasses can redefine these primitive operation 1 and 2 to make sure that it acts differently, although the same methods are executed. So let's head over to the code sample I used. Let's head over to Visual Studio. So what I did, I created my template over here where I have a template method, which is the update items method. And the update items method will call get items, change items, and if items are indeed changed, it will call save items. If there's been no change, it will just log nothing has changed. We are not calling saved items. So this is our template method. And this template method will call the other methods, which are in this case abstract. That's why they throw a new error. And within specific item migrators, we will implement those methods. So let's head over to a person. A person is a simple class that has a first name and a last name. And then we have a person migrator. And the person migrator implements the methods that are called inside the template method. So the get items, the change items, and the save items. So within the person migrator, on get items, we just log we're getting persons, and in the change items, we change persons and we return true. And then we can call save items. Of course, this is a sample application, so nothing actually happens, but you can at least see that these methods are called. Then we have a second class, an address, which has a street and a zip code as an example. And we also have an address migrator. And the address migrator, of course, implements these required methods, get items, change items, and save items. The biggest difference between the person migrator and the address migrator is that in this example, the change item on address migrator returns false. So there are no changed items, so we do not need to call save items in our template method. When we then look at the load method over here, we just create an array of these migrators, and on these migrators we call update items. And update items is the template method, which we see over here, which will call get items, change items, and depending on whether items are changed, we'll also call save items. When we look at the result, let's head back to our solution web page. Look over here, scroll down. So what we see here, we are getting persons, we are changing persons, and we are saving persons. The reason we are saving persons is because our changing persons method returns true. Then we call getting addresses, and then we are not changing any addresses. Our change items is called, but it returns we are not changing any addresses, and returns false. Because it returns false, nothing has changed, so the template method will not call save items. And that is how you can use a template method pattern.